guys, welcome to Appalachia's Homestead. Good morning. Had a busy morning. Let me tell you a little trick of the trade you might want to copy. Promise your troops some homemade biscuits with lard, and they'll go do all your barn chores for you, ladies. Sounds like a deal to me. So that is exactly what we're doing this morning. I have half. I had said previously all, but it really, in honesty, it's only half of my lard is rendered. Can you believe that? We got pigs 2 years ago, as you know, and then last year we took them and had them processed back in was it August? I think so. We got 776 pounds of pork, and we have all of this now beautifully rendered lard. Look at that, snow white lard. So if you came to the Great Appalachian Homesteading Conference and you participated in all of the lard rendering activities, that's what we made. You got it. We have more to do though. Lots more to render and lots of things coming up. We're going to be making soap. We're going to be making dumplings. We're going to be giving some to old Fred. But today we're making biscuits. Now you've seen me make biscuits on several different videos. The recipe is going to be the same. I have found a recipe that I like, that works for me. Some people make it with 3 ingredients or only 4 ingredients. I have a few more, but that's what my family likes. So you got to do what works for you. Basically, the only thing that I'm going to be switching out is my fat. You've seen me make it with butter. You've seen me make it with Crisco. You've seen me flip these on open fire. You've seen me make these in cast iron. You've seen me flake these up. We're just going to roll them out today. Maybe. Who knows? I might get a wild hair and do something different right as we get going. But my fat, instead of butter or instead of Crisco, is actually going to be lard. Okay, so that's what we're going to do so you can see how they work out, and we're going to enjoy them. Now, what I've done, just so you can see down here, I'll put the recipe down below, and you know what, I'm going to be honest with you. I have this like standard measured out recipe, but sometimes you just kind of do a pinch of this and a pinch of that and you go, and that always ends up being your best recipe. So, but I have 2 cups of white flour down here. That's already in there, okay? Already thrown that in there. Then I do about 3 teaspoons of your baking powder, not your baking soda, okay? I did add a dash of baking soda in there. You do want to add just a little bit, maybe less than half of a teaspoon. If you add more than that, you'll be puckering up like a fish. Don't do that. Then I add a dash of salt. Some people don't add salt. Sometimes I don't because I forget. Don't let that bother you too much. Once you get all those dry goods down in this bowl, I like to mix them up real good like this. You really want to mix them, okay? See that? You want to get all of that distributed all in there. You can use your hands, but just for the sake of the video, I'm just whisking it up like that for you. Once you get that worked up real good, you know, everything distributed, especially your salt and your puckered up baking soda and all that, you're going to add your fat in. That's where that lard's going to come in. And I'm going to add, I don't know, a couple dollops, a couple plops. I'm not going to measure it. We're going to go wild. We're going to be like a wild pig. We're just going to go crazy. So we're going to put that in there. Usually if I do butter, I'll do maybe 4 to 6 tablespoons. You got to learn to play with it, okay? You'll find exactly your groove if you make a lot of biscuits, exactly what you like, okay? So don't sweat that. Don't sweat it. And then what I'm going to add in there is my milk. Now, I have made buttermilk today. I make homemade buttermilk. It's very simple. You do about a cup, and you do your nice big plop of vinegar in there, and that'll start clabbering up. Okay, that'll start clabbering up. If you have buttermilk, if you have homemade buttermilk, which I hope to very soon from milking my cow, then you'll put that in there. You don't have to use buttermilk. It's okay if you don't. You can use just regular milk if you want to. Some people just use water. It depends on how primitive you're making your biscuits. I'm just showing you my recipe. So I've got this all whisked up. Let's plop this lard in here and get her rolling. I've got the cast iron ready to go, and I've got my eggs. See my eggs down here? Gonna have eggs and biscuits. Didn't do any sausage today. I know, y'all are begging for me to make sawmill gravy. I'm gonna have a video coming up on how to make sawmill gravy. Claiming that, okay? But I've got yummy mayhaw jelly from my friend Andy in Texas. This is my last one. My kids love it. We're about to, honey, your honey is gone, and we're on this last jar. We love it. We're gonna have some of that today or some molasses. Let's get whisking it up and plop that lard. Let's go. Okay, so we've got the lard here. I'm gonna get me a tablespoon. I'm gonna show it to you. Look how, look. Just like so. white as snow right there. The dogs even know I've got lard. They're barking outside. So I'm going to put, so like I said, I've already done all of my dry goods. You want to mix those up first. You want to get that all distributed in there. And I'm just going to plop this in here. Going to plop it. Don't plop it. Don't drop it. Don't stop it. Let's just do 4. No, let's do 5. We're getting a little hog wild today. Hog wild. Take out the whisk, Tara. And I'm going to mix it with my hand. So we'll just do 5. Let's just play with it. Let's just do that. All right. So then I've got this all in here. Let me pick this up. So you see I've got that lard done in there. We'll move it back. And then we're just going to mix. That's the key. You got to get it all mixed in there. You want to get it going just like so. You're going to get flour flipped up on your Vitamix and on the counter. Mamaw didn't care and Hannah didn't care. And it's just going to start making like cornmeal, just like with your Crisco or your butter. You want to start making this coarse, coarse action flour. And then, of course, you've got your dogs barking and all of that going on in the background, so it's real life. So I'm just going to do this a little bit. I don't want to over mix it, but I just want to get it good and going. Okay? Just like that. All right. See? I got a pig home in a pen, corn to feed him on. All I need's a pretty little girl to feed him when I'm gone. Make them biscuits, baby, make them big and brown. When we get them biscuits made, we're Alabama bound. I got a pig home in a pen, corn to feed him on. All I need's a pretty little girl to feed when I'm gone. Sing a little Ricky Skaggs or Ralph Stanley, and we're gonna make biscuits. Okay, so here's what it looks like. You can see right here, just real coarse. Let me pull it over to the light so you can see how that looks? Simple. Then I'm just going to take up, see how this buttermilk, see that? See how that's clabbered up? You want to actually do that first right here before you start making your biscuits so that can set up. It takes a good 5 or 10 minutes for it to start doing that. So we're just going to put that in there. About a cup. And then we're going to mix it up. And then we're going to start rolling it out. You can do drop biscuits if you want. Some ladies prefer to do drop biscuits. They don't want to roll them out and full with the mess or anything like that. So what I'm going to do is mix it, plop it, and we're going to mix it up here and flatten it out nice and flat with our French rolling pin. I love these French rolling pins. I really, really do. All right, next step. You don't want to add too much flour on your countertop, okay? You just want to get the very basic of what you need, because if you add too much flour in all these breads and biscuits and things like that, it's how they get too dry. Don't do that, okay? So kind of gauge how wet and the consistency of it in the bowl. Then you bring it over here. Look at that, okay? There we go. And we're just going to do this. Not a lot of flour. It's not, look, no sticking at all, baby. No sticking. Okay, we're just going to roll it, and I kind of tuck it under a little bit. Just whatever I feel like. Okay. Get a little bit on that rolling pin, not much. And we're just going to start rolling it out. As thin as you want, as thick as you want. But remember, if you make them really thin, then it's not going to be your baking, you're not going to want to bake it as long, okay? And I bake my biscuits at 400 around 15 minutes. Again, you got to eyeball it. Don't be afraid to make biscuits. So many people tell me I can't make biscuits, I don't know how to make biscuits, I'm afraid to fail. Well, you're going to fail. You're going to burn it to learn it before you get it right. So just accept that. You may do it 10 times. And you may nail it, and you will, and then you'll burn them again. We still eat them, and you throw them to the chickens, and life goes on. All right, now I do all kinds of different things for cutting. I have to always tell myself to not twist. I think I'm Chubby Checker. See, everybody's got something they do. I'm Chubby Checker when I make biscuits. Look at that. Is that not pretty? Let's bake them up. Woo! Okay, so what I want you to know is, depending on how thick you make your biscuits, clearly, And what size of a cutter that you use is going to determine how many biscuits you make. I've been able to use this same recipe and using a little bit smaller I use the ring like this. I'll use a regular mouth ring and I can get much smaller biscuits. They're great, but I get more of them. So it just depends on what you want. So if you're sitting here going, well, she didn't have that many biscuits. Well, they're pretty big though. I don't know if I'd call these cat head or anything like that, but they're pretty big. They're pretty big. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 biscuits, that's about right. 8 large biscuits, 10 to 12, small to more medium size. So that's what we're going to do. And you can see, there's my griddle. I love my large cast iron. We're going to put them in the oven, 400, around 15 minutes or so. Now remember, these are bigger, so it may go 17 minutes. Heck, knowing today's weather and my altitude, it could go 13. You just got to test it and see what works for you. But I can tell you, I like the texture. I think this lard's going to work out mighty fine. All right, that's how we make biscuits around here. You can substitute your fat. Like I said, it's good old butter. If you go like your grandma probably did not too long ago, she made it with Crisco, you know she did. But if you really want to go old school and good, you're going to go with some good old-fashioned lard. If you like this video, like and subscribe. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. We've got more recipes and goodness coming up for you. We just appreciate y'all coming along for the ride. It's time to eat. Oh, yeah. I think so. I think so. I got a pig home in a pen, corn to feed him on. All I need's a pretty little girl to feed when I'm gone.